This week we are headed for South and North Dakota. I'll explain more, but for now, watch these cute prairie dogs.
Ollie! That's not Ollie. Steve!
Once we crossed Snake River in South Dakota, the scenery changed. All of a sudden, there was hills and eventually these dirt-looking mountains in the distance. This is where I started to get really giddy about the trip because to me, all of the good stuff is starting. The unique brown mountains started to get closer to the highway, larger in size and more plentiful. Since the sun was starting to set, we parked at a truck stop near Badlands National Park for the night. First thing in the morning, we set out for a big day in the Badlands. I planned for us to go through the scenic loop, which began with feeding some prairie dogs. You could buy a bag of peanuts from the store and approach the little rodents to feed them. After Catherine stopped being so excited and constantly jumping, which scared the little critters off, she was able to get them to take peanuts right out of her hands, and she actually got to pet a few of them. You're really not supposed to touch them, but how can you not? There was a couple that were extremely friendly, and Sam and I got to pet them too. Our next stop was up the road for a hike. I didn't even care about the hike at the time, I just wanted to sit and look around at the unique scenery. I just couldn't believe that what I was looking at was really a thing and was actually existing in front of my eyes. But since I do love hiking and climbing, after lunch I left Tom at the bus with the kids while they napped and I went to explore. I couldn't even accurately describe how beautiful the scenery is. I love it. As we continued along the loop, we visited numerous pullouts and remained in awe the entire time. As we were leaving the park, we saw 2 bison in the distance. I was in shock at the size of these creatures. After some pictures, we went to the famous Wall Drug, which is a giant block of stores and a restaurant all linked together for inside shopping. We got bison burgers for dinner and then continued to an incredible lookout over the Badlands for the rest of the night, where Catherine flew her first kite with Dad as the sun was setting. We're just over here at Badlands National Park. Catherine's flying a kite for her very first time. Well, Tom's flying a kite for her. There it is. We're having such a great time. I'm all sunburned. Kids are not, thankfully. How beautiful it is back there. It's going to be such a great morning to wake up to. After the kids went to bed, Tom and I admired all the stars that coated the sky. I have never seen so many in my life. After nursing Sam in the early hours, I decided to get up and watch the sunrise over the Badlands. The morning was cool, but I enjoyed the once-in-a-lifetime experience. After going to bed for about another hour, the 8-month-old alarm clock went off and it was time to start the day again. We packed up the bus and headed to Mount Rushmore for about an hour before continuing north. Our next destination was Theodore Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota. The drive felt very long, but we made it to the visitor center just as the sun went down. We stayed the night in the parking lot and woke to bright sunshine and a gorgeous view. Tom saw a bullhead snake and found some really large moths. We went on a really exhausting hike through the Badlands and had a picnic lunch at an overlook before heading into the south entrance of the park. We decided to find a campsite inside the park where we relaxed for the day. The next day we had brunch in this really adorable town called Medora, drove through the southern loop of the park, and then headed north. Before going in, we stayed a night outside the park and visited the splash pad and outdoor swimming pool for some fun for Catherine. After a 4-hour swim, we went into the north entrance of Theodore Roosevelt National Park for the evening. managed to delete all the pictures off my camera for the last couple of days, so I only have a few from the phones, but this drive on the North Rim fortunately was saved. After a scare of a close bison when I was taking a picture of an overlook, all our luck changed. Bison were everywhere. We saw a herd grazing in the distance, but on our way back, they were on the move right in front of us. It was incredible to see. As we went further down the road, we were warned of more up ahead by an oncoming car. What an experience.
Deer, cat, and mouse. Cat and a mouse.
After leaving the park, we stayed overnight at a truck stop before continuing on to one of my biggest bucket list locations, Yellowstone. There is so much to show from that trip, so make sure you don't miss our next video. See ya!